Hello everyone, it's the Cowboy here, and welcome to another edition of Bitcoin and Ethereum technical analysis here for YouTube. And let's kind of jump right on it here and take a look at Bitcoin. First of all, I want to thank everybody, for subscribing to the channel. We hit 800 followers, which maybe it's not that many. For me, it's a lot. If I started this channel, I don't know, maybe about, not even a year ago. So I think, the growth has been pretty good. And I'm glad you guys enjoy it and continue to come back, to watch some of the nonsense that I have for you guys here. So kind of starting back, I can't believe it's been already 2 weeks since we've done the last Bitcoin, and Ethereum technical analysis here. And since then, Bitcoin, it's been, being quite aggressive. I mean, if you kind of go back and you see this red line is what I've recorded the video. We were right underneath this, major resistance levels of 13,820. And, we were making a case for a potential break higher here. And, we've gotten it, which is amazing. And it seems that the momentum continues to favor, a move to the upside. So, I just kind of want to analyze this a little bit, see what happened and where we are and what I think it's happening, coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So, let me just kind of start. I'll come back to the red count in here, but I wanted to start going back and taking a look at the moving averages. And I've just posted something on Twitter that I've made a small mistake there with the percentages. Actually, it's quite a major mistake because I haven't, made the right math on these percentages, and I kind of went back and checked it, and I think I've gotten it right. And the reason of that post was to kind of take a look at how much above the 200 average actually the Bitcoin where it is, and how where it's been in the past in kind of similar circumstances, right? And we kind of always look at this volatility and how far a price goes regarding to its 200-day moving average, which is more of an average of prices, right? And, to anybody out there that thinks that we have run kind of way too far, too fast, I come here with the argument that I don't think that's the case. And if you look here previously, for example, back in June 2017, you've had almost 130% rise into price before you've had a meaningful pullback. Then you forward to September 2017 and you've, rallied again, the top. I mean, the high above the 200-day moving average was, again, about 127%. Similarly, back into the top in 2017, this was actually a major rise. And if you measure from where the moving average was, where the top formed, you got a 277% rise in price. And then, some of the more meaningful ones are back here in 2019 in June, where we've had, that original 14K top, and that was a 160 percentage move. And then we've had a couple of smaller ones in here of about 38%. And the current one, where the price, it's about 52%, between 52 and 54%. A distance from the 200-day moving average. So, we're nowhere near some of these larger swings that can happen before Bitcoin can actually, start to correct lower. So if I were to measure and just take from this 200 and just kind of pull a percentage up and just kind of even go 100%, you'll see that would take us to about, what is this? Let's see here, $122,000, right? And then if I go 150%, you can get to about $26,000 to $27,000 into the price of Bitcoin. So there's room to run in here, and I'm not, suggesting that it will happen. I'm just kind of comparing with some of the other things and say I don't think we are, extremely overbought here. Now, kind of going back to my counts and taking a look at this, I'm going to bring you some arguments that we could be hitting some resistance levels in here, and I want to be cautious about it. So, for example, under the red count interpretations, we continue to monitor this double 1-2. So you have this 1-2, 1-2 with a larger breakout in this third wave. Now, this breakout here, this larger third wave here, would possibly near completion if we're following some standard, Elliott wave fib projections and fib multiples compared with this wave 1. And those come at around $17,000. So for this larger third wave, if I need to pull it back here and just kind of consider it finished, or in the process of being complete, that would come at about $17,000. For a standard move, it can go much higher. It can go to 260% multiple of wave 1 or even 420, right? So for right now, we're kind of continuing to favor this and look at it, I mean, we're in the RSI, it's in the overbought territory, it's trending, it's kind of staying above that $70 mark, 70 level mark, and it's kind of showing you a trending market in here. One of the higher levels for it, right, of this other one too, just equality with this wave one, will come at about 23,000. So let's just kind of look at this thing, right? When we were talking about this breakout, I've kind of cautious against, watching this kind of trend line and the break of this trend line and then a retest of it and maybe a continuation higher. So I continue to kind of pay attention to that while also keeping in mind the 17,000 level for resistance. And the reason I talk about that is that if I go back to my candlestick charts and if I go back to like more of a 4-day chart, I'm looking for some kind of an equality between the moves. And you can see this move back here from December 2018, to the middle of 2019. It's projected up here, and I just basically copied this line and posted it back here. And equality between those two moves comes roughly at about 17,200 level, right? So now I start to have a little bit of a confluence of zones in here that can tell me there could be some level of resistance here. Markets, like equilibrium, and I think, they kind of, respect that overall. So this is another indication that this level might be something strong in there, right? And it's also kind of projected up into these levels. The other one that I have is this kind of pin count, where I continue to look higher in here. So basically, if you watch my last video from a couple of weeks ago, I was entertaining the possibility, for the sake of the bears, that there's possibly maybe a flat in here, and this was a 3-wave decline followed by a 3-wave to new highs, and then we would get some kind of a flat. And I said, the chances of that happening are getting slimmer because of the impulsive nature of this advance. And that kind of came true, and the market pushed back up higher. So that flat scenario, and those are dangerous when you kind of look at it without having more of a confirmation from a price. It's more of a wishful thinking, because flats are always dangerous, because you run into the risk of this move actually being impulsive and being a new leg higher rather than a corrective pattern. So based on this interpretation, I continue to look higher here in this larger third wave advance. I don't have any fibs on here, but if I go, for example, up to to a larger time frame, based on this, I could say maybe I can do a fib in here as part of a third wave and see kind of where the projection is. So only 100% distance multiple with this wave one would come possibly about around 31,000. So, there will be some levels to target, right? And if you look at those moving averages, that's kind of pointing up into those zones if we really wanted to get aggressive. But for right now, I'm just kind of, watching it, and I don't even have a count in here. I'm just considering it just a larger third wave advance into Bitcoin. The other one that I want you to look at was this one, right? I have a green count in here that kind of points more to a possible, termination into this move in here as part of a larger fifth wave, right? So I kind of start my wave count from the lows 1, 2, 3, triangle in 4, and then up in 5. And I'm not saying is the correct one, and I'm just kind of presenting it in case we're going to kind of start to pull back, because I have to be respectful towards the market and give it a chance to correct lower. The reason why I'm doing that is because I'm not extremely happy with the second wave pullback that I have under the pink count or under my blue count. And if we're thinking that we're going to get a much larger decline into Bitcoin and have more of a deeper wave pullback, then this count here makes sense as this being a triangle in a fourth wave, this being a third of a third, and then this is a fifth wave that's kind of coming into some important fib zones, which is 38.2 of distance travel between wave 1 and wave 3, and also 100% wave 5 versus wave 1. So I have a cluster of zones here that are being challenged right now, and they also kind of go back towards the other argument of my candlestick patterns towards 17,000, or my red count fib multiples here at about 17,100. I'm also getting a small divergence in here, but it's not enough yet to convince me that we are hitting a top. It's kind of flashing some yellow signs in here for me, and it's telling me, be cautious and, don't get super aggressive with the longs or reduce your position, and just kind of wait and see what happens up into these levels. Going back to my blue count, I want to show you, so we are still long into this market. We initiated longs up from this consolidation. It wasn't the best entry. It's not something that I like to do. I like to kind of get into the corrections, but the pattern was building an explosive move. And if you go back to my candlestick charts, one of those, and I have to go back to the daily, as I've showed in Twitter and in the Telegram, for me, this pattern here was kind of building an explosive ramp. And this was one of the reasons why I considered taking a position into the 13,000 level, 13,800, because I saw this bullish pennant kind of forming in here, and I wanted to kind of take advantage and kind of run it as much as possible until we're going to get a corrective leg. So going back to the blue count, we are still long. We moved our stops. We took actually about 75% of the position off, and I'm running the last quarter of a position, and I'm trying to trail that and try to get with the move as much as possible while manually trailing my stops. So my first stop obviously was at the break even. Then I raised it up to 15,000. Then now I'm at about 15,400. So I'm still, roughly about $800 below the market, but I've secured, most of these profits from these levels up into these stops. So I'm going to continue to look higher. I'm not sure if this third wave is complete yet or not. There's a bunch of ways to count the internals of this move, and I'm not willing to do that until I'm starting to get more of a sizable correction. But I think what's going to happen is we're going to get some kind of a fourth wave pullback in here that's going to match this, maybe somewhere here in the near future. Maybe we're very close to it. You can see already the divergence starts to be pretty aggressive. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. Maybe we're going to make one more push up higher here, maybe shoot it up into the 17,000 and then pull back into this fourth, and then we're going to get some kind of a fifth wave that would complete wave one of a larger, third wave advance in here. So this is pretty much what I have in Bitcoin. And if you guys kind of want to go back and take a look at some of my longer term counts, just kind of check the YouTube channel, go into my page, and then you'll see, why I think Bitcoin goes higher. And, I have more videos with a lot of explanation. So let's step over to Ethereum and take a look at that as well, because I've made a video, I think a couple of days ago, I think on Tuesday of this week, where I've talked actually about, a long position that I've opened in Ethereum as well. And there I talk more about kind of the business aspects and kind of how I conduct my trading and how I try to look at it from a business perspective with the stops, with the risk rewards, and, kind of how I manage positions, after I enter them, and kind of what I look for, to stay profitable and to try to put the market, to reward me. So considering that this is a wave one top and this is a wave two pullback, which again, you can go and watch the video, and this is possibly a little bit of a stretch because of such a short wave. Again, just like in Bitcoin, you could get a flat where this is an A, that's some kind of a B wave up, and then you're going to get a C for a larger flat, which is totally fine. But the moment we're starting to break above these levels and you start to shoot back up higher, that's going to become questionable. So longer term, based on this count, if that's a 1, that's a 2, then I wanted to take advantage of a larger move up higher here in this larger third wave. And that kind of starts from these lows, and you go up into a leading diagonal, you pull back in the second. This is another move that's possibly maybe completed or near completion for this wave one. We could get a second wave pullback, maybe in some fib zones, and then continue to push back up higher. So this is kind of my main interpretation for now, and I'm willing to entertain it and let it develop and try to get, my targets for this trade would possibly be around 550, 600, something, if I can get as much as possible up onto this third wave to enjoy some profits on there. But then I have also discount where it could say that, that says that this is possibly a fifth wave, and this wave one that I kind of have in here, it's not done yet, right? And I'm still kind of fighting it. This is actually a wave one of the lows. That's a 2, that's a 3 in here, and this is a triangle in the fourth. and now it's a 1-2, and then we're pushing up higher, trying to finish a fifth wave, kind of similarly with what's happening in Bitcoin in that green count, if you remember, and then you can get, more proportionate second wave pullback. So this is kind of my yellow count, and there could be a possibility that this is, but still in terms of longs, short of getting some kind of a truncated fifth in here, it still kind of points higher towards at least 550 level to get more of a proportionate fifth wave. It would obviously have to be smaller than third, because third is smaller than 1 under this interpretation. And then the other one that kind of looks much higher, right? On this one, I'm just looking at it as, okay, that's fine. This is a wave 1 of these lows. That's an ABC pullback in 2. And what we're having here is we're having a third wave advance, where I want to get at least towards 11,032, for this third wave. So that means that, maybe there is a 1-2 in here. This is another 1-2. And then you continue to push 3, 4, and 5, 4, and 5. And then you continue to make a larger third wave advance, which, I'm not going to argue with any internals. It's just a matter of, hey, I want to stay with it because, we're actually moving higher in here. Now, here is the other one that, that some eliticians look at it and say, and, me included, that it's a very, viable possibility, although I think it's kind of starts to fail. It's the fact that you can get really bearish on Ethereum by considering this a simple correction. So either a 5 wave over 3, if it's a 3 wave move, then I'm looking at it as an A, as a W, X, and then a Y. I can't consider it a flat because of a lack of a distance travel in this 3 wave advance. I would like it to go all the way up here to about 90% of this wave A to be considered a flat. So I'm either going to consider it, a simple zigzag or some kind of a double zigzag, right? So I'm going either as an A, B, C, or as a W, X, Y. And based on this, we have some equality in here to 100% Y versus W, which is this move and this move. And then I also have 6/1/8 of B versus A, which is 6/1/8 of this entire decline that kind of comes up into these levels. And then we should get a decline lower here towards $27. I mean, I don't think it's going to pan out. Imagine if this happens, what's going to happen to the alts. And I don't know if the market is prepared to kind of have such a big flush. The fact that we're kind of, pushing back from here, right? If I'm considering this pattern complete, then this has to be a wave 1, this has to be a wave 2, and then I wanted to see the decline lower in 5 waves, followed by a larger pullback, and then another drop down, right? For right now, what the market does is actually challenging again the new highs. And if we're starting to push above these levels and start to continue to go higher, then I have to mess with this B wave and consider this as being, some kind of a different formation, and maybe like a running triangle or something, where this is an A, that's a B, that's a 1, that's a 2, and you still got to do a 3, a 4, and a 5. So it starts to look awkward the moment I'm still kind of challenging this move and consider it still part of a corrective pattern. So this is my challenge. The other way it could be, it's that it could be a flat, and when you're looking, at having this as a 3, right? And then this is an A, this is a B, and then this whole thing here is a C wave. And you would have to be, Jesus, you have to be 1, maybe a 2, and then that's a 3, again, that's a 4, and then one more push up higher here for a 5th, just like I have in the other count, and then sell over. So I'll give it, but I think it's quite a bit of a stretch for me. You wanted to respect this channel and kind of be pretty accurate on pricing, without challenging again this channel and then break higher above it. So I think Ethereum had plenty of chances to show me that it's going to sell lower, and it didn't do it. So I got issues with it. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, guys. If you like the content here, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, leave any comments, any ideas you have for future videos. Come and visit us into the Telegram room. I have a public channel where we post different charts and we have discussion. We have a chat room, that's free. And then we have my pro channel where I have, the clients and where we talk about markets and trades. And, I have entries and stops and targets, and, we cover different markets from alts to, the S&P 500, Forex, and commodities, and, some stocks and different things on there that are, really helpful. And traders, pick up a lot of this knowledge regarding Elliott wave and how to trade it, and, how to get better at it. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Again, thank you for getting me to 800 followers, and let's keep pushing the channel, higher by hitting the thumbs up and rising the content, and, help as many traders as possible, understanding and getting better learning Elliott wave and helping them just get good. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.